time have been tough, okay, for the past several months. The global economy has been hit very badly. A lot of people have lost their job, retrenched, looking for a new job, and this is a very bad time for a fresh graduate, right, who is just trying to come into the market, trying to compete for that first job, right, against so many people that already has years of experience in the market. Now, we all know what we actually want. We want that so-called job, that so-called position. But sometimes we have to ask ourselves, what does the employer want? Okay, see it from their perspective. A recent survey actually asked this question. Right? What skill set does employer actually want? And this is what I want to talk about in these few moments. Now, beside having the necessary qualification, and hopefully if you have the experience, show it in your resume, okay, but it's not just qualification and experience. There are other skills that employer actually wants. One of it are what they consider as supplementary skill, and here are the top 3 supplementary skill that employer actually look for. Firstly is effective communication, teamwork, collaboration, data analysis. Now, how can I actually show this to my employer or future employer or would-be employer? Well, for effective communication, make it clear, make it nice in your cover letter. Every time that you send out your resume, also try to send in a cover letter. Proper English, grammar, spelling, alright, highlight your strength in communication, at least in written communication. So that is where you can actually show that I can communicate effectively. What about teamwork and collaboration? If you have done any project that involve collaboration, well, of course, put it in your resume. You can highlight this. But what if I have not done any projects? Alright, I'm a fresh graduate. How do I actually show teamwork or collaboration? Well, this is where you can look at your sport section. Alright, what games do you play in your school or your university? If your sport that you play is a team sport, where you play as a team, football, netball, basketball, rugby, where you play it as a team, highlight it. Okay, you can put it into your resume, because employer will actually look at it. They say, hey, this guy actually play in the basketball, right? So teamwork will come naturally to a person like this. This is something new, okay, that only risen in the last couple of years, which is data analysis. Computer actually has a fantastic ability to generate a lot of reports, a lot of graph, a lot of infographics, alright, onto your dashboard of any application nowadays. But it still takes human to actually understand what all this data actually mean, right, and try to explain it to your board of director, or to try to make sense of it, and then actually use that information to run the business, to make decision, important decision, okay, for the organization. Okay, so if you do have some workshop, you have attended some workshop on data analysis or done some online course on data analysis, okay, this is a place for you to show it. If you are a fresh graduate, but if you have done subject like, for instance, statistics, or you have done subject that involve quantitative techniques, okay, your grade in these particular subjects can actually help you over here. Alright, so these are the top 3 skills that employer actually look for as far as supplementary skill is involved. But the employer are also looking for what is classified as adaptive skill. This will be a little bit more tricky, okay, because in this new world, this new age, a lot of things will change, and because of these constant changes, adaptive skill become highly valuable. The top 3 skills that is required by employer are innovation, analytic reasoning, and complex problem solving. Lastly, creativity. It is quite difficult to actually highlight innovation unless you are in the field, alright, of business analytics, or if you are in the field of business process analysis, okay, then you can highlight that inside your resume in terms of your experiences. For analytic reasoning and complex problem solving, this is another area that is highly regarded by your employer. How can I actually show this? Because there is no real certificates, right, to this. Well, true, there is no real certificate to this, but do you have any programming background, coding? Have you done any of those? Why coding will actually help in this area is because when you want to code, most of the time you are actually solving a problem. You have an idea in your mind, you take that idea, you break it down, you analyze your idea, you analyze the requirement, you formulate a design which is actually trying to solve all this problem, right, that you have broken down into small little manageable chunks, and then you are solving it. So subjects like programming, subjects like coding can actually be used to highlight your ability to analyze, okay, understand what you have analyzed, okay, break down the problem, which is taking a big problem, breaking down into small little manageable chunk, and solve it, and hence create a solution. The last particular skill is creativity. This will depend on the nature of the job itself. Alright, sometimes creativity is used to solve day-to-day problem, but sometimes the job itself require someone that is creative, right? Like for instance, a designer. Okay, now let's take a look at the form of a designer. Okay, an architect, someone that deals a lot on creativity. Okay, if that is the case, then your only option is to create a portfolio. of your work that you have done. Right? There are a lot of things you can do. Of course, first of all, the easiest way is to create your own website and put your portfolio over there. For instance, your posters, the art that you have created, or the marketing skits that you have done to show your creativity. So that is one way to very easily and very quickly display your creativity. Then inside your resume or inside your cover letter, actually place the links, which is your URL to this website, so that your future employer or your potential employer can quickly browse through it and see, all right, and assess your so-called creativity. But there's another form of creativity is tied down to problem solving. Sometimes the creativity is not the design, it's not actually to produce a short advertisement, for instance, but the creativity is to use creativity in problem solving. Okay, it is very difficult for me to actually explain this because it all comes down to the nature of the problem itself. All right, but I can give you a simple example. For instance, near the elevator, everyone is complaining that the elevator is actually very slow, or it takes quite some time to actually wait for the elevator, for instance. Okay, now of course there is two ways to solve it. One way, of course, you can speed up the elevator if you find that you can remove the old elevator and use a modern elevator that speed up the process, or you can have a creative solution to it by installing mirrors. Well, of course, it will sound very weird. Why would actually mirror actually solve this problem? The mirror doesn't speed up the elevator, but what the mirror does is the mirror actually take away the attention of the people that are waiting for the elevator, and taking away this attention actually reduces the complaint about the elevator is being slow. So this is a very typical example, right, that's in class about solving problem creativity, right, using creative means to solve problem. Now once you actually understand what your future or potential employer actually wants, okay, hopefully you can build a better resume, you can build a better profile for yourself, especially on the internet, okay, and hopefully you will get that job that you actually want.